Tesla could potentially make more money from its Bitcoin investment this year than profits from electric cars in all of 2020. What's your take on that? What's your Bitcoin take and the fact that the price can just go up or down based on a simple tweet from him?
Well, look, Elon has tons of money and he's very sophisticated. So, I don't worry that, his Bitcoin will sort of randomly go up or down. I do think people get bought into these manias who may not have as much money to spare. So I'm not bullish on Bitcoin. And, my general thought would be that, if you have less money than Elon, you should probably watch out.
Why aren't you bullish on Bitcoin?
Look, there are things we invest in society that produce output. Bitcoin happens to use a lot of energy. It happens to promote anonymous transactions. They're not reversible transactions. The Gates Foundation does a lot in terms of digital currency, but those are things where you can see who's making the transaction. So digital money is a good thing. And there's a different approach that's local currency and attributed, and deals with all the money laundering and terrorism type regulations, and yet gives you the very the convenience and the low cost of transaction. And so, our foundation is very proud that in the pandemic, a lot of the countries we funded to do this were able to get money out to their citizens very, very efficiently. So that's something that it's not got the visibility of Bitcoin, but the move towards digital money that we're very engaged in is a super positive thing that eventually will get to even the poorest countries.
You saw this conversation happening on Twitter, and you feel that, look, regulation isn't the answer. Why not?
Yeah, look, I don't think we need regulators to protect billionaires from gambling their money. Mark Cuban admits that he invested in this thing with doing zero research. This contract that powers this stable coin was not audited. And I think it's just another case like so many others of people just throwing money into something brand new without doing any research on it, without understanding the fundamentals, without looking at the code, and just hoping that it's going to go up like everything else. And to call for regulation because you made a bad bet, fully knowing what you were getting into, fully knowing that you did not do any research yourself, I think is just going too far. And regulators are having a hard enough time understanding Bitcoin. To get them to understand this bleeding edge DeFi stuff, I think it's just asking too much, and it has the potential to really slow down the industry and slow down a lot of innovation. And I don't think that's what we need at this point. I think we just need more people doing their research, especially billionaires that are going to be making statements publicly, encouraging other people to get into these things. I think that's irresponsible. I think when you have that kind of an audience, you really need to be careful about what you say and not mislead people into thinking that these are all winners.
And Warren have weighed in on Bitcoin. Do you own any?
Somebody gave me some for my birthday, and then a few years later I thought, hey, I'm going to sell that. So no. There's some really good technology in terms of sharing databases and verifying transactions that is talked about as blockchain. That is a good thing. Bitcoin and ICOs, I agree completely. It's one of the crazier speculative things where it's not as an asset class. You're not producing anything, and so you shouldn't expect it to go up. It's kind of a pure greater fool theory type investment. So, I agree. I would short it if there was an easy way to do it.
One of the interesting things, if people react when you criticize their investment, if they get mad, they're gambling. If somebody criticizes Apple or Berkshire, we like it. I mean, if the stock goes down, we'll buy more of it because it's we don't care whether it's just we don't feel that it has anything to do with it. But if we criticize something that they own because they only want it to go up tomorrow, they feel we are hurting them, and therefore they get very upset about it. If they really like what they own, what difference would it make? I criticize their wife or something, they don't get all upset about it.
Wait a minute. That's a bad habit.
It doesn't necessarily matter who the big name is who happens to be a supporter of XYZ cryptocurrency. It's so volatile that a lot of these moves are driven by the Musks, the Dorseys, perhaps the Cubans of the world, and they can still lose. You can still have extreme volatility.
Just because you're a billionaire doesn't mean, this is a good lesson for CNBC, just because you're a billionaire doesn't mean you're always right. Billionaires get it wrong too, okay? And I do want to point out that a lot, that it's, again, ideological. Like, people just think you can't lose money in it, and you say that if you sell, you're breaking the ranks. You're breaking the ranks of whole. This is not Braveheart, this is money.
Do you have a thought?
In my life, I want to try a lot of experience. And I respect an actor and actors, not easy, because after 12 days shooting a movie, I know it's not easy to be a good actor. So you will see my movie very soon.
Yeah, I know that movie.
Yeah.
Kung Fu, right?
The question about Bitcoin, honestly, I'm not that big fan of Bitcoins. But I pay special attention to the cashless society, blockchain technology. Bitcoin, the thing I want to know is that what value, what things that the Bitcoin can bring to the society. But behind the Bitcoin, the technology itself, really very powerful. So my job and Alibaba Alipay's job is trying to making sure that we will move, the world will move into a cashless society. The society can make everybody equal, make everybody inclusive to get the money they need, and making sure it's sustainable, inclusive, and transparent. I hate corruption. I don't have opportunity, it's okay. But I don't want somebody through dirty way take away my opportunity. This is why we want a cashless society. But Bitcoin, we watch it very carefully. I will not say I'm a fan of Bitcoins. I'm always also as curious as you are. And I don't think I'm expert on that. I don't pretend I know. There's one thing that I want to share with all of you one day when you do business or do whatever. If you don't know, it's not shameful. But if you don't know, but you pretend you know, it is very shameful. I don't know about Bitcoins.